Hey, everybody. Welcome back. All right, everybody. You have found it. You have finally tuned in to the Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9, right here in the heart of the Grozarks, holding it down in Missouri. What's up, Justin? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Just you're so close at pointing right to the Robust sign. You were like, you were right there. You're so close.
For our folks on the FM side, we do have some pretty cool stuff happening out there on the YouTube and the Facebook, where you can see what I'm pointing at, in case you're interested. So we got a heck of a show lined out for you guys. I'll tell you what, it's an exciting time in Missouri, right? There's so much happening with cannabis. Of course, that's why you're tuned in. And so no surprise that we're going to talk about weed. There's so much happening out there with adult use popping off and so much to be excited about there. But now we're going to talk about new opportunities out there for folks, and that's the Missouri micro licenses that are coming out. So we're going to talk all about that today. I've got a heck of a show lined out for you. I've got John Payne on from Amendment 2 Consultants. Now, we've teamed up with those cats to be able to provide some really cool pathways and information for folks that are interested in getting into the micro license, micro cannabis ecosphere happening in Missouri. So we went to those guys, and we'll talk about it more when we dive into it. But, Tim, we talked about it a lot. Justin, Steve, we talked about if we're going to work with someone, they got to have a proven track record, right? That's what we're about, right? We're about folks that have gotten stuff done, and they have that. They have that proven track record. So we're going to talk to them about that. I've also got our friend from the show, Candy Flores. She's from the Courage and Cannabis Volume 2 series. She's been the heart of that series. She really has, besides obviously the author stories and everything. Candy and Justin Trowbridge from Route 66 Labs right there in New Mexico. What's up, Justin? Have been working hand in hand to tirelessly bring great content from that book, from these authors and everything. So we're going to close out that series here with a conversation with Candy and talk about her story and her path to cannabis. She's the assistant of Dr. Bridget Cole Williams, who is the author of Courage and Cannabis Volume 2. And I do want to say it's pretty cool. We're in that book also. One of the Sparks, one of the little authors in there, and our team's talked about. So it's pretty cool to be a part of all that. So
yeah, good stuff. I'm not sure why they got you in it, but it is pretty cool.
It's probably just
a pity chapter.
You're right.
It is. It's under pity chapter. It's the very last chapter. After the
stop it. So are you the only one in tie-dye?
I don't know. That's a good question. Does Mike Tyson wear tie-dye? Probably a little bit. Ed Rosenthal's in the book. All kinds of cool cats. So if there's not a splash of tie-dye, we're certainly going to bring it. I know. It's it does mention tie-dye actually in our little chapter there.
I think it's funny how people refer to you, the tie-dye guy.
Yeah. Thanks. It is like that though sometimes. And I got my buddy Joey Carpenter, a little psycho knot friend of mine, is on his way down to the studio to come hang out with us and talk about the Columbia scene and hang out a little bit. You can bet also that I've got a great version of our great episode of Real Strain, Fake Strain, my game that I play with my team. I think I've got you guys stumped. Now, I don't tell you guys this, but every week I go over to Grow Depot next door, and I take my Real Strain, Fake Strain game over there to Jesse Wheeler, who is Steve's kiddo over there that runs the shop. And he's on the morning show with us, too. You guys check that out from 7 to 9 on K-Kid. But I bring him over there, and this one, I got him good. I stumped him with about half of them, and I don't usually get him very well. So I think I've got you guys on this one.
Am I keeping score again?
I'm not sure about that part. I didn't check the validity of your scorekeeping last time.
I'm just saying I'm a 2-time title champ.
I think what I'm going to do is I trust Phil not to cheat, and I trust both of you as my friends, of course. But I think I'm going to have a second eye on you this game, Tim.
I'm okay with that. It's all good. I understand. I mean, it's tough to be good at this game.
Yeah, you're good at scorekeeping.
Well, isn't that kind of the game sometimes?
Yeah, well, yeah. Wait, hold on. No.
That's why I don't keep score when I play golf with Tim, because he's got to cheat.
Yeah, I'm never playing golf. I'm never playing golf with Justin again anyway. That dude is like the Incredible Hulk of golf. I've never seen anything like it.
Dude, he can hit a ball.
I've never seen anything like it. All right, so let's talk about our first little order of business here before we get into the business. So it looks like it was a pretty wild Mother's Day out there in some spots. So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but over in South Carolina, they're doing it a little different on Mother's Day. It says moonshine, marijuana, and 112 chickens were seized at a cockfighting event, South Carolina deputies say. All right, it says a Mother's Day raid, okay, on a cockfighting event in rural South Carolina led deputies to discover moonshine and marijuana were part of the entertainment, according to the Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office. Okay, it happened on Sunday, May 14th, in the unincorporated Middendorf community, about 70 miles northeast of Columbia, Chesterfield County, along the North Carolina state line. Among the discoveries made at the home at this wild party were 112 roosters that were isolated in separate cages. It said there's also about $16,000 in cash, and get this, there were 2 jars of moonshine there too. So that's a crime. Yeah, that's a crime. Here's a quote. The Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office received a tip that an illegal cockfighting event was occurring at this Prospect Church Road in Middendorf. Approximately 20 officers, it took 20 officers to do this raid, from the Sheriff's Office and the DNR, that's the Department of Natural Resources, responded as a result. 38 people were charged with the crime of cockfighting. That's 38 folks caught that charge. Among those arrested was a person charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. One of them had a gun, besides his rooster. And one of them was charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. And 7 others were charged with possession of marijuana. So they got the dealer and the 7 folks he sold the pot to. Man,
that sounds like a perfectly good party.
Except for the cockfighting part. I don't think that we want animals to get hurt, but the rest of it sounded like it was pretty all right. The deputies seized 4 trailers. They got the trailers, man. They got a little seizure there. They got some good stuff there. And 104 grams of marijuana. 104 grams. How many ounces is that, Steve?
4, 2, 4.
And
it's like Rain Man with.
Did you say 100?
That's what he said. He said it's
4 ounces and 2 grams.
Right. He said 4 ounces and 2 grams. Got to feed the cats. Got to stop by Kmart,
Right.
get the grams.
Yeah, definitely Kmart. Definitely Robust Studios.
They also towed 16 vehicles. That's a lot of, like, they just took everybody's cars. Like, I guess if you're going to jail, you're gonna
charges.
find a ride from there anyway. But it says cockfighting is a misdemeanor in South Carolina, and penalties include up to a $1,000 fine, with as much as a year in prison for the first offense. According to the law, consequences it can triple on the second offense too. By the way, so I'm sure some of these were probably seasoned cockfighters. I imagine.
That's rocking out with your cock out.
That is definitely that. I think it's definitely not the kind of parties that we're throwing over here in Missouri, but
Depends on who you know, Waxy.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, I know you. Are you? What kind of parties are you throwing?
I don't do any.
Steve does goose fights. It's a whole different thing. No one gets hurt. There's just poop everywhere.
No, actually, they're fake. You know,
That
they
sounds
don't
right.
fight very much. They just kind of float around.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go to commercial, I want you guys to know you're going to see some new imagery over there. Justin, we got some of the new stuff up on our digital side over there.
Yeah, so we've got the new stuff for the micro business licenses, and today is the first day that we're live streaming to LinkedIn. Ooh.
Oh, big shout out to all my LinkedIn family out there. We love LinkedIn. We just put the page up over on there, and you had to get to 150 folks liking the page before you could go live on LinkedIn. So we'll check that out. But big shout out to all of our folks out there. I want you guys to pay close attention, all the folks on LinkedIn, because we do some pretty cool stuff on our digital end. DM me if you want to get involved with the program. Slow Jam. Let's have a good time with it. All right. So what was I going to do?
Micro licenses.
Yeah, so that's what I want to say. Justin's got some really cool stuff. Make sure you guys check that out. Check out those websites. And Justin, big thanks to Route 66 Labs for producing the show on that end and putting up all that cool digital work. We appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Last week on my trip through
Yeah.
Kansas,
Uh-huh.
Nebraska, and Iowa, the number one conversation, micro licenses.
Oh, I'm sure.
Everybody I talk to up there, that's in the CBD industry, that's in the hemp industry, they're all wanting to come into Missouri and get a part of this deal.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Again, I
think about it like this. Think about it like this. The folks that put these laws together for the micro licenses did our medical program. our medical program has been a phenomenal success. When you look at across the states, across the United States, there has been no state has done it like we've done it as successful and lucrative. And especially, let's think about the vets and the taxes, things like that. We're doing it the right way. If I'm in any other state right now, I'm looking at Missouri going, wow, that is the hub. That's the place where all the brands are going to move around. That's the place where logistics are going to make sense. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch when interstate, which I'm going to talk about this later in the show, interstate commerce becomes a thing federally. So very interesting to see what states are set up for that, what states are not set up for that, because I believe that it's our national constitution directs that we have to allow that. So let's see how it goes.
I think it'd be interesting to talk to John today about caregiving and all these people that are interested in micro licensing.
Yeah.
Once they find out what the rules are for caregiving and home growing in Missouri,
right?
Man, it's like why are we not in Missouri?
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I wouldn't want to be in any other state right now as a cannabis person. Like just to be real. All right, folks, let's go. It's down there in New Mexico, which I want to talk about that. New Mexico had some changes to your laws down there that I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit too. And we'll call that one Sleepless in New Mexico when we get to it. All right, folks, you're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9 right here in the heart of the Grozarks. We'll be right back.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out!
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
People always ask me, how do you do it? What's your secret? How long did it take? What kind of dedication do you have? How do you do it every day? Well, the truth is, I'm high as shit most of the time, and I wax off a lot. I mean a lot.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9. This is that show where sometimes you'll hear us cough. All right, so stop it, Justin. Hey, so Justin, you told me you found a little more information on the cockfighting episode thing.
Yeah, I found a transcript from a body cam from one of the officers that responded to the event. So it's a female officer talking to one of the bystanders, and she said, is that one of the roosters? And the guy says, no, it's a talking chicken. I swear, it's really cool. Watch this. The guy looks at the chicken and goes, how much is 100 pennies? And the chicken says, buck.
That's not what happened. Dude.
And then the officer looks at him and goes, seriously? And he goes, no, seriously, watch. Hold on. Like, if a burger is $1, how much is 2 burgers? And the chicken said, "Buck, buck." And she goes, "Seriously?" And he goes, "No, it gets way better." And the chicken looks at the officer and says, "No, really, it gets way better from here, I promise."
Justin, you mute him. Where's the mute? So can I reach the mute from here? I don't know where
I'm
that's at.
surprised he didn't throw the video up of the body cam.
He probably has it. Like, he's good at that kind of stuff. All right, so I want to talk a little bit. Check this
I
out.
thought you were going to get to the punchline, Justin.
That was the punchline.
That was the punchline.
Oh, he's muted. See, I got him. You finally got
me.
That was the punchline.
Okay, got you. All right. So,
Oh,
Sleepless in New Mexico. That's the title of this next little thing I want to talk about here. Justin, did you see that they have a change in your medical program down there in New Mexico?
I'm not shocked either, but
Well, I want to read this to you. It's actually, I think it's pretty great. It says insomnia will soon be a qualifying condition to obtain your medical marijuana in New Mexico. The state's Department of Health, the state's Department of Health's medical cannabis program announced Tuesday that the condition will qualify for enrollment starting in June. So in June, in New Mexico, if you can get your medical marijuana card, but for having insomnia. Now, you would think, like, why is that important, right? Like, if you already have an adult use program in New Mexico, why is it important for folks to get qualified under insomnia? So this quote clarifies that for you. Even though patients may access cannabis without a medical cannabis card through the adult use program, by including insomnia in the list of qualifying conditions, patients would have increased opportunity to discuss with their medical provider how cannabis can be used to impact their insomnia and help them make it sleep better. So what it really comes down to is, if you're using cannabis and you've got your medical card, you can't walk into your doctor's office and say, "Hey, I'm using recreational cannabis. It helps," right? It doesn't really clarify it for today's doctor. Today's doctor isn't aware of your endocannabinoid system. They're not aware of the treatments that we have, from RSO to supplements to suppositories in our dispensaries. They're not aware of it yet. So this kind of gives them that in there to be able to talk about that with doctors, and doctors be able to decipher that information a little bit better and at least qualify and give it a little more credibility. I do think that's one of the reasons in Missouri that I love for people to keep their cards, especially veterans, because you talk about the Veterans Administration right now. The VA wants you, if you're a veteran, you're using cannabis, they want you to get your card. They also want you, even if you're not with your card, they want you to talk about it now. They're taking down anecdotal evidence, because right now, obviously, we can't do a whole bunch of research with the VA, even though they've got some stuff that's popping. It's all anecdotal, and they're getting those stories now and entering that into records, showing how much it's helping with everything from pain relief to PTSD, anxiety, things like that. Anything that's in our medical system. So pretty good stuff. I think that's pretty cool that New Mexico is still dialing in their medical program, even though they have an adult use program. I think that's pretty great, because
But don't you think Missouri's doing a good job of that too, is staying on top of the medical program? I mean, there's a lot of these dispensaries that still have patients that they're taking care of.
Sure, absolutely. I do think it's a little bit different down in New Mexico, that they're actually still making big changes, right, to their medical program in the way that they're adding ailments. We haven't done anything like that, even though I think that we would. We have a really comprehensive program, though. Like, we already have all that with that one statement that anything a doctor says that they think you should qualify for.
It is pretty interesting to see other people from outside the state of Missouri now that it's like something all of a sudden happened with these micro licenses, where everybody's looking at Missouri going, wait, what are the rules? Wait, they're already rec?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we had no idea.
Yeah, we were second fastest to because we enacted our recreational market within 3 months of the vote. We could tell we medicated right before we came on, but I do think that it's going to be pretty wild to see the same thing happen with these micro licenses. Like, right now is when you should have started yesterday, honestly, if you're going after a license, right? The deadlines are coming up, and they've been moved to the left towards us even more. So now's the time to really get into that discussion and get going with it for sure.
Hopefully John will be able to outline all those dates and all the changes and everything when he's on today.
Yeah. All right. I think it's pretty wild.
Well, we've talked about this for how long? Missouri is going to be a phenomenal place to build a brand.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's, when you talk about the medical market and how quick we came to the recreational market, that's why people want to come in. I mean, not just small companies with with smaller visions, but big companies, big brands are looking at Missouri going, they did what?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's wild. It's wild to me because I've watched what we thought was going to happen over the last couple of years with our medical market. I've watched it all happen, right? So like some of the things we've seen are these, some of these brands that we're building out of Missouri are built for speed. They're going to be in other states, and we're working. There's plenty of MSOs here. Well, there's not going to be a lot of MSO action inside this ecosphere with the micro licensing. It's going to be a wild time. I think it's going to be your craft beer opportunity, and it's a really cool opportunity for folks that run successful businesses and then want to flip that into the adult rec conversation. Because if you can grow really good weed in an ecosystem like that, you can do it bigger. You just have to figure it out. You got folks like Robust who are doing sustainable soil. You've got hand watered even. Like it's just a wild time out there for these brands that want to come in and do new stuff.
But you know who can really, really help with that though?
Yeah.
It'd be the man, the myth, the legend, John Payne himself, who's backstage right now. You want me to bring him in?
Yeah, let's bring him on. Hey, folks, let's welcome to the show again our friend John Payne from Amendment 2 Consultants. We're going to talk today about the cannabis micro license opportunities here in Missouri. So welcome back to the program, John. We appreciate you, buddy. Oh, we got John muted. John, you might have to unmute yourself there.
Yep. Okay. There we go. That should be it there. Thanks for having me.
You might want to turn your volume down.
Turn your volume down just a little bit for us if you can. We'll get her tuned in here.
Yeah. 1 second. I don't know exactly how to do that.
Maybe we can. You got any control over there, Justin, on his volume?
No. I'm scrambling. I can mute him. That's about it.
No, don't mute him. We'll try and
I can pull it down here.
Okay, John, go ahead and give us a little.
Yeah, is that any better?
So he's getting better. Yep. Okay. All right, folks. Welcome to the conversation. John Payne, Amendment 2 Consultants, and a friend of the program. We appreciate you coming on, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here.
Good. So let's take people for a walk. And Steve, maybe you could turn the background music just a little bit. Maybe I can turn my headphone down. But let's take people on a walk on what these opportunities look like here in Missouri with the new cannabis micro licenses that are coming out. Let's give them a kind of a bird's eye John Payne view.
Sure. So there's going to be 3 different waves of at least 48 licenses spread out across the state, divided up equally by congressional district. So each congressional district in each wave will get a minimum of 6 licenses. And 4 of those will be cultivation and manufacturing licenses. We call those wholesale licenses. And then 2 of them in each congressional district will be dispensary licenses. So overall, in each batch of 48 licenses statewide, 32 of those are going to be wholesale licenses that can both cultivate and manufacture marijuana products. And then 16 of them are going to be new dispensary licenses. So, it's and also the system for awarding those licenses is going to be by lottery. So, there's which I think is a good fair way to distribute those. Now, you do have to demonstrate that you are eligible to own one of these licenses. And essentially, these are designed to be to help out people that have been harmed in some way by the prohibition on marijuana. And so they have to be majority owned by some one or more individuals who meet at least one of a few different criteria that are in the amendment. And those include if you've been arrested, charged, or convicted of a nonviolent cannabis offense. And that can be in Missouri or it can be anywhere in the country, actually. I've had that question a lot. Doesn't matter where the charge originates from. And then another one is service-disabled veterans. Those are also, that's an eligible category. Also, if you live in a zip code where the rate of incarceration for marijuana offenses was more than 50% greater than the state average, and the state actually just came out with a list of those zip codes where you're eligible for that. There's a few others, but that's those are kind of the primary ones.
Very cool. I myself, being a disabled veteran, also done a little bit of time for cannabis. I love the fact that Missouri is doing this with an eye on being able to help some of these disabled veterans get their hands on the licenses. Because, teach somebody to fish, right? That's a big way to do it and be able to help out other veterans as well.
Yeah.
So you've gone over a few of the different eligibilities. What I want to touch on, and maybe I didn't tell you this ahead of time, John, also is our market right now desperately needs these new licenses. We desperately need to grow more cannabis. We need more cannabis in people's hands. This could help with that situation we've got in Missouri, which is a little bit of a high end market right now due to supply issues.
Yeah, I think we have more demand than, frankly, I think anyone was anticipating. I was kind of considered a bit of an optimist in terms of saying we will probably do $1 billion within the first year of the first sale of adult use marijuana. But I think we're actually going to do $1 billion just in 2023, where there was 2 months where we didn't have that. And a lot of that is it's obviously there's a strong demand in Missouri, but what we're also seeing is, boy, there's a strong demand from a lot of these states that are surrounding us that don't have any kind of legal access or very limited access, or in the case of, say, Illinois, they just have a really high tax rate. So all the places on the border are seeing a lot of people coming over from Kansas, from Arkansas, Iowa, Kentucky, and Illinois. So that's really been driving a lot of the success of the market, and I think that's a great opportunity for these new licenses as well.
Well, one part of the market that we haven't seen yet that's going to be really interesting to watch is the Lake of the Ozark markets, Branson, places like that, which are hubs for our tourists that come in. We haven't even seen those dollars yet. I can imagine that they've got some projections out there, but I bet it's not anything like what's going to happen here in Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially the lake, which is, it's known for people who like to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so, I fully expect that during the summer when they get into peak season, those the dispensaries there and eventually the new dispensaries that locate in that area are going to see a real great trade during the summer season.
Very cool. So if I'm somebody on the other side of this, John, because this is a question that I see a lot. If I'm somebody on the other side of this and you're telling me that there's going to be, limited licensing and everything else, I'm going to ask, well, why should I even try? Are we worried about the numbers, or what alleviates that concern in my mind if I'm a little concerned about some of the licensing opportunities?
Yeah. So, I think the main thing is that it's we try to keep the application fee very reasonable. It's only a $1,500 application fee, and if you don't win, that is refundable to you. So that's something that you can do effectively. You do have to have the $1,500 to put in to apply, but it's really kind of no risk as long as you put together a compliant application and you either win it or you get that money back. And the application process is relatively simple. It is something that my firm, does offer services on. It's our fee currently is $3,000 for that. Although I know we're offering a discount to anybody that comes in through you guys' show, so that's it's $2,500 for any of them. It's something that is a lot cheaper to do, a lot easier of a process than it was on the medical applications, where some of those could be, take you days, weeks or months to complete.
Yeah, wasn't an application in the medical market something like 40-something pages long or something?
Oh, it was way longer.
It was
way longer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We definitely had some. Now, some of those were attachments of documents of like insurance policies and things that run on but probably on average, 200 pages, something like that. So it was a real to do. This is mostly assembling some compliance documents that essentially show that you meet the requirement, that you're owned by someone who meets the criteria, and then also that you are in compliance with the local zoning of wherever you're intending to locate the license, and that you have a floor plan that is compliant to the rules. So nothing super complex. It is a decent amount of work, but nothing that somebody that's committed to doing it wouldn't be able to do, especially working with somebody that has experience putting these sorts of applications together.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. But first, I want to tell folks, if you're watching us on the YouTube side or the Facebook interactive pages, we've got the website at the bottom of that can take you to more information. But for the FM side, that's www.momicrolicense.com/Waxy. We'll get you to the site. That's momicrolicense.com/Waxy. That's me. You guys will be able to get a lot more information. Make sure you qualify, of course, which in Missouri, let's just be real about it. This is built for folks that have been affected. The social equity side of this, I think Missouri's done it right, because we certainly had states that have stutter stepped and faulted in the past, and it just doesn't seem like this is going to be one of those situations.
Hey, one of the questions I'd like to ask is the real estate side to this. What's that look like, John?
Yeah, so you do have to have a location, and you know, the state just came out with the final order of rulemaking on this. I don't believe you actually need to own the location or anything like that, but you will need to have a location that you intend to, where you intend to use the license, and it is better if you actually do have, you know, a commitment to that location, because you can move it if you win the license and it not end up wanting to locate there, but then you have to go through the new zoning process. There is a change fee. So, you know, it's good to lock that location in. And, you know, from the point of view of a dispensary, location is obviously very important in terms of what sort of market you're going to have. So you want to think about, you know, where are the dispensaries right now performing really well? Where are some underserved locations in the market? And there are a number of them that are out there. You know, quite a few towns and rural areas that don't yet have a dispensary, towns on the border that could, you know, have a new market there. And then, you know, in terms of cultivation, you know, I think there's a lot of opportunity for good locations where in places that don't yet have cultivation facilities, or also, you know, kind of putting maybe a group of those licenses together and achieving some kind of economy of scale in one building. So I think there's quite a few opportunities if you, you know, have real estate, or if you're looking to partner on that. I think there's quite a bit of opportunity on that.
Very cool.
Now, can one person or one entity get both licenses? Can you become vertical in the micro license aspect of things? Can you apply for both?
So one individual cannot, and so this is actually something the department put in there, that one individual can only be an owner, meaning 10% or more on one license, and that is restrictive in some ways, but it also that prevents companies from coming in and, you know, putting in 1,000 applications. And, you know, that's something we've seen in some other markets, and you know, that kind of defeats the purpose, because then you get the big companies that just end up with the licenses. So you really have to have different individuals that are applying for these. But I think that also means that there's a great opportunity for partnerships and collaboration across those groups. So, you know, if you have a group of people where there's, let's say, 5 individuals who meet the criteria, then they can apply. And if they win the licenses, you know, they can be collaborative and say, well, I'm going to have a dispensary and I'll buy from you. And you know, maybe the 2 people have a dispensary, they can brand them a similar way, but they do have to be, you know, owned by those individuals that, you know, at least initially during the application, they have to have that separation of ownership, so that we're making sure that we're spreading this around and not having them go to one, you know, a few big groups that put in 10,000 applications or something.
You know what I like a lot about this? I like that it's got the social equity thing going on, but it's also creating a craft cannabis market. And it doesn't, you know, I don't know if that, obviously that had to have been part of the folks that put this together. That had to have been a part of it. But it'll be interesting to see the quality that comes out of a farm that's only growing 250 plant count in each phase. Can we talk a little bit about what that? Because you have your dispensary license, your retail license. Let's talk a little bit about that second license and what that manufacturer, what are you calling it?
Wholesaler license. So,
the marijuana wholesaler license. Talk to me about a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you can have at any given time up to 250 flowering plants. There's no limit on the non-flowering or clones. So, you know, you can be in perpetual harvest on those 250. And so, you know, they are designed to be smaller than the big grows, and to, have a level of craft to them that, you know, in a big facility where people try to automate everything, and there's reasons to do that. It drives costs down. But, you know, it does have a tendency to kind of lead to a Walmartization of the cannabis. It's not, you know, look, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I don't think that's a bad thing per se. But if you really want something high end, that requires more individual attention, more artisanal work where there's really people giving human individuals giving particular attention to every plant, and that's the sort of thing that you can do with this and create something. And I think that's also the best route to being successful, is catering to the connoisseurs in the market, and being able to sell something that is a very high quality and will kind of fetch that higher price point in the market.
Let me ask you another question then. Or Steve, were you about to ask something?
Well, my question was, is there a place that we can go on the web to see what the congressional districts look like and where they're actually, how they're cut up?
Yeah, there is. If you search, and this is actually, this is a little confusing because we did this under the congressional districts as they were when we filed the petition in 2022. There are now new congressional districts that have been because of the redistricting after the census. But that is there are those 2020 congressional maps still out there. And actually, that's a good point, Steve. I hadn't thought about that when we were making the website, but we should get that map on there so that people can see exactly where those are. I can easily provide one.
We'll send that to your website guy.
Yeah, I'm on it.
He got the message. That was quick.
Yeah, that's the way it flies around here.
He's good, isn't he, John?
Very.
Right. So, John, I got another question for you. Let's say I'm successful in this market. Do I stay in that market forever, or can I flip this to the adult use market?
Yeah. So, they are all adult use licenses. I do.
Right. Of course. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, but you can stage up to a comprehensive license, which is the term that we use for the licenses that are the currently operating. And essentially, what the amendment says is that all new comprehensive licenses, at least 50% of those, have to go to people that win a micro business license and operate it successfully. So, if you get into the market and you're making your way there, then you do have that opportunity to go up to the larger license. And, if you want to grow at a larger scale or, that's and be able to have even greater opportunity.
Yeah, because I've seen that in the market plenty where let's say one of our bigger flower companies will put out like an exotic flower or something higher grade than usual. Well, in the craft cannabis world, they're starting like that, right? So what happens when they expand? That'll be interesting to see craft go up as opposed to a lot of these bigger companies growing a little portion of craft cannabis. We'll see what happens when a craft cannabis company goes big. We'll be able to see that in Missouri.
And think of the craft beer companies that will partner with craft weed companies.
Right.
That's really, when you combine the alcohol industry with the weed industry, I mean, that's the party, right?
No, I get it. Yeah. And
That's already happening to some extent. I mean, I know some of the craft brewers up here in St. Louis, some of them are involved with some of the licenses already. So and I think that's exciting. There is one of the things I love about the cannabis industry is you get all these people from very different backgrounds coming in and creating this new thing. And it leads to a lot of different ideas bouncing around those rooms, and that's a lot of fun.
It's wild because in the cannabis industry, but a lot of our folks out there that come from other regulated industries, other compliance industries like alcohol, tobacco, things like that, they come here because it's very attractive to them, but also it is very similar to what they've had to deal with.
Yeah, this is it's definitely an industry where you got to have a lot of compliance standards, and that's something that a lot of those folks have dealt with. But it's also an industry that it's an interesting combination of adherence to rules, but also kind of the outlaw spirit of where the old legacy market where all this originated. And so you get those two things combined, and it's I think it's very interesting to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, we're getting towards the end of the interview, and we'll have to take a break, John. Before we go, I want to ask you, tell me a little bit about Amendment 2 Consultants and why I'm going to want to work with them before I go anyplace else. Because for me, it's about proven track records.
Yeah, so we've started Amendment 2 Consultants. I was the campaign manager on the medical marijuana Amendment 2 back in 2018, and during that time period, I had people coming up to me and saying, "Hey, would you like to be my consultant?" And I at the end of the campaign, I said, I never got into this to be a business consultant. It wasn't my background. I come out of the nonprofit world, but I was like, well, this is a great opportunity. I would love to be in the cannabis industry. So I set up Amendment 2 Consultants and worked with a lot of people on the medical applications. And we won about 20 of those. And since then, we then ran the Amendment 3 campaign and also continued to work with a bunch of businesses here in Missouri and also applied elsewhere, including in some of these states with lottery systems. And every single application that we've put into a lottery-based system, every single one of them made it into the lottery. We can't control what happens after that, but we had all the documents in order to show that yes, this person is qualified to be in the lottery. The floor plans were compliant, all that sort of thing. So, and yeah, we've never had an application rejected because of compliance reasons. They've all moved into the either the scoring or the lottery system, whichever kind of classification it was. And I think we also have very, very fair rates. I've heard of people going around asking for tens of thousands of dollars or 90. I've just heard today somebody asking for 90% of the equity in the company for doing the application, which I don't even think that's legal, but
not legal.
But yeah,
most scams aren't.
Yeah. But we were very, very fair and transparent and have a good track record and have plenty of people here in Missouri that can attest to that.
Awesome. Well, John, we're proud to have teamed up with you guys, Amendment 2 Consultants and Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. Justin, can you give them that website so that they can find out where to get more information as well as a free consultation from John and the team?
Yeah, I'm fixing it, adding the districts right now, but whatever.
My bad.
But it's momicrolicense.com/Waxy, and that gets you the discounted rate, and then you can see a bunch of the information that's out there. You can learn more about John and his crew, as well as some of the other things that'll happen if you do end up landing a license. And then you can fill out a little form right there, and they'll get in touch and see how they can help and all that good stuff. But this is one of those things where you don't want to go on this alone. You definitely want to use some people and all of us from the show. So that's why we're here.
That's right. All right, folks. We appreciate you, John.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, folks, what a great conversation. Make sure you guys jump over to that website. That's momicrolicense.com/Waxy. Make sure you guys are getting in there and checking it out. If you know a veteran or someone that qualifies, this is a great way to get them started by just talking to them about it. So maybe you want to give your Uncle Earl a call, tell him he qualifies for a weed license. All right, you guys, you're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. We're brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9. We'll be right back.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
People always ask me, how do you do it? What's your secret? How long did it take? What kind of dedication do you have? How do you do it every day? Well, the truth is, I'm high as shit most of the time, and I wax off a lot. I mean a lot.
have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9. Hey, I'll tell you what, Steve, K-Kid Radio, thanks for having us on, man. We really appreciate you. I didn't know you're fumbling the cameras over there.
Well, you need to scoot back just there.
There you go. There.
Now your whole head is actually in the, not, you're kidding yourself.
Steve, we're on live.
Oh, we are live?
Yeah, we're on live.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Welcome, everybody, back
I'll
to the
pay
Flower
attention
Power
back there.
Hour. All right, so coming up in just a little bit, we'll have Candy Flores on from the Courage and Cannabis Volume 2 series. But until that time, it is time for Real Strain, Fake Strain. This is that game I came up with to stump my team. And Phil, welcome to the program. Back to the program.
Thank you.
You're going to participate in this as well. I did stump Jesse Wheeler pretty good with this one, so I'm excited to see how well you guys do. Now, are you keeping score over there, Steve?
I'm going to keep score.
Okay. Steve's going to keep score
I'm
this
going to
time.
be the first. This is my first time being the scorekeeper.
Is that a threat?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm kind of excited.
Justin, are you ready?
Seeing how much I can cheat.
I'm chillaxed.
You're chillaxed. Okay, good. That's important too. Do you have your glasses on, Justin? I can see from over here. It looks pretty good.
Well, I mean, Phil can't be the only guy wearing sunglasses.
I was wondering what was happening there. I didn't know what was happening there. It looks legit. Steve, can you make your screen bigger for me on your screen over there so I can see the whole? Stop it, Steve.
It's not working.
He's trying to use his fingers like that's not how it works. Use your mouse, bro. All right. So we have my team. I'm going to give them two strains. One's going to be real. One's going to be fake, and they're going to tell me which one is the real strain. We're going to start with Steve. And we're going to go to Justin.
Let's go with Justin and then me. And
Justin,
then,
Phil, Steve. You feel like you have an advantage
well,
that
no,
way?
I put a J, an S, and a P, so I don't want to.
Oh, okay. So we'll go JSP. So are you saying you're in the middle now?
Yes.
Okay. So Justin, Steve, then Phil. Okay. All right, here we are. Here's your two first strains. Wonka's Bubblicious versus Bubba Loompa. Wonka's Bubblicious versus Bubba Loompa. Justin, what do you think, buddy?
Can I go last? Because this, I'll go with.
I knew it.
I'll go with Wonka.
You want Wonka's Bubblicious, not Bubba Loompa. Okay, Steve, are you Wonka's Bubblicious or Bubba Loompa?
Bubba Loompa.
All right, Phil, are you Wonka's Bubblicious or Bubba Loompa?
Bubba Loompa.
It is not Bubba Loompa. It's Wonka's Bubblicious. Justin got that point there. I'm telling you, this is going to be a difficult one for you guys. I worked really hard on this. It took me about 5 minutes to come up with these. So, all right, here we go. Sandy Sheet. That's a Sandy Sheet versus Verde Electric. Sandy Sheet versus Verde Electric, Justin.
I've got to go Verde Electric.
Verde Electric. Sandy Sheet or Verde Electric, Steve?
Sandy Sheet.
Sandy Sheet. Have you had that one? Have you had that one, Steve? Sandy Sheet.
I know it's over in Marquez over there.
Okay, all right. Phil, Sandy Sheet or Verde Electric?
Verde Electric.
It is Verde Electric. It's not Sandy Sheet. That sounds like a terrible name for an uncomfortable name for weed. All right, here we go. Space Queen, Justin. Space Queen or Space Oddity? Space Queen or Space Oddity?
Space Oddity.
Space Oddity. Okay, Steve, what do you think?
I'm going with Space Oddity too.
Space Oddity. All right, what do you think, Phil? Space Queen or Space Oddity?
We have some Space Queen growing at the house.
Yeah, but I think you are cultivating Space Queen, aren't you? Okay, that's Space Queen. It is. You guys got that wrong. Phil for the win there. All right, here we go again. Real strain or fake strain? Sour Providence or Sour Jilly? Justin, is it Sour Providence versus sour Jilly?
Sour Providence.
Sour Providence. Oh, you're not done yet. Yep. Go ahead, Steve. Sour Providence or sour Jilly?
Sour Jilly.
Because that's your wife's name?
Right.
Okay.
Jilly. Jilly J, Miss USA.
All right, go ahead. What's up?
Sour Jilly.
All right, it is sour Jilly. Justin, it's not sour Providence, unfortunately. Steve and Phil for the point there. All right, here we go. Justin, is it Dear Margaret's Dilemma or Russian Rocket Fuel? Dear Margaret's Dilemma or Russian Rocket Fuel?
I will have to go with the Russian rocket fuel.
Russian Rocket Fuel. Okay. Steve, is it Dear Margaret's Dilemma with no accent or Russian Rocket Fuel with a bad accent?
What?
Dear Margaret's Dilemma or Russian Rocket Fuel?
I'll go with the Dear Margaret's Dilemma.
Okay, Phil, what do you think? Dear Margaret's Dilemma or Russian Rocket Fuel?
Dear Margaret's Dilemma.
Wait, how are you spelling Dear Margaret? Like just to double check.
DEAR.
Okay. I want to
Okay.
make sure we weren't talking like a cloven hoofed animal.
We aren't. We are not talking about the cloven hooked animals. So you said Dear Margaret's Dilemma?
Yes.
Okay, it's unfortunately it's Russian Rocket Fuel with the bad accent for the win. I made up the Dear Margaret's Dilemma. Although that sounds like a great strain. I'd buy that. All right, here we go. Justin, is it Romping Goddess versus Prickly Princess? Romping Goddess or Prickly Princess?
Prickly or prickling?
Prickly Prickly Princess or Romping Goddess?
I'll go with prickling princess.
Okay, all right. Steve, are you a Prickly Princess or are you a Romping Goddess?
I am a romping goddess.
Of course you are. Phil, what are you going with here? Are you going to smoke that Romping Goddess or the Prickly Princess?
Definitely the Romping Goddess.
It is the Romping Goddess. Prickly Princess is incorrect. Justin, I don't think you should have started on this one, bro.
I didn't have a choice. Steve cheated and got me in the middle on the starting point.
You're still winning.
Yeah, you're in the lead.
I thought he was first.
Here we go. All right, these ones are difficult, guys. Old Lime Old Lime Connecticut OG. That's Old Lime Connecticut OG or New Appalachian Magic. Old Lime Connecticut OG or New Appalachian Magic, Justin.
You found a map in your house today, didn't you? Is that what happened?
I look at the Appalachian Mountain.
Old
Lime Connecticut OG versus New Appalachian Magic.
I'll go with New Appalachian Magic for my Appalachian roots.
All right. And the magic is spelled MAJIC. I see here. So, Steve, is it Old Lime Connecticut OG or New Appalachian Magic?
I'm going with the Old Lime Connecticut
OG.
OG.
All right. The OG went with the OG. All right, Phil, what do you think? The Old Lime Connecticut OG or the New Appalachian Magic?
New Appalachian Magic.
It is the Old Lime Connecticut OG. There, Steve got that one. Steve got that one. All right, fellas. All right, here we go. Is it the Kushishima or the Manila Grozilla? Is it the Kushishima or the Manila Grozilla? Which one is a real strain? Kushishima or Manila Grozilla, Justin?
So it was a globe, not a U.S. map, is what you're saying. I'll go with the Manila Gorilla or whatever it was. I don't know.
All right, Manila Grozilla.
Grozilla.
Steve, are you the Kushishima or the Manila Grozilla?
I'm going with the Mozilla, Grozilla, whatever.
The Manila Grozilla. Manila's in the Philippines, Steve. Phil, are you going with Kushishima or Manila Grozilla?
I'm going to go with Kushishilla.
That's not even one of them, but okay. All right. Phil goes with Kushishima. Kushishima is correct. I made up Manila Grozilla, guys. Unfortunately, Phil got that one.
That was the second dart you threw at the global map.
Right. All right. Yeah, it is. All right, here you go, guys. Or is it the Green Door Kush or the Orange Window Pane? Green Door Kush or Orange Window Pane? Justin, Green Door Kush or Orange Window Pane?
Green Door.
Green Door Kush. Steve, what do you think?
Orange Window Pane.
Orange Window Pane. I already know you're going to get this one, Phil. I already know. Green
man.
Door Kush versus Orange Window Pane.
Orange Window Pane.
Oh, man, it's not. It's Green Door Kush. Orange Window Pane is a different thing. A little piece of paper that you put in your mouth.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, man, I do remember window pane, but it wasn't weed.
It wasn't. It was the LSD of the 60s. Yeah. All right, here we go. Is it Ed Rosenthal Big Bud or ER Cheese? Ed Rosenthal Big Bud or ER Cheese?
ER Cheese.
ER Cheese. ER Cheese. Now,
Big Bud.
You're going to go with Ed Rosenthal Big Bud. What do you think, Phil?
Big Bud.
It is the Ed Rosenthal Big Bud. It's not the ER Cheese, although I would smoke ER Cheese for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
It just seems so obvious.
It was. And sometimes I am. I appreciate that. So here's
How many left?
We got 4 more.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
We can still win this.
All right,
We're
yep.
tied. Phil is in the lead.
All right. Diesel wheat or diesel tonic? Diesel wheat or diesel tonic? Justin?
Diesel tonic.
Diesel tonic. Steve, is it diesel wheat or diesel tonic?
I'm going to have to go with the diesel wheat.
Diesel wheat. Justin or Phil, what do you think? Diesel wheat or diesel tonic?
Diesel tonic.
It is not diesel wheat. It is diesel tonic, Steve. Unfortunately, you didn't get that one. The guys did. All right. Dogatonic. That's Dogatonic or hippie crippler. Dogatonic or hippie crippler. Justin?
I'll go with hippie crippler.
Steve?
I don't know why, but I have to.
Dogatonic or hippie crippler?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Justin there. The hippie crippler. Dogatonic just sounds like something that you would make up, Waxy.
Well, okay. All right.
All right. But
Phil,
I could
you
be
got
wrong.
this then.
I could be wrong.
You
go for it, Phil.
I'm not going to give it away.
You're
Phil,
in the lead.
Dogatonic or hippie
You're
crippler?
in the lead, man.
I'll say Dogatonic.
It is hippie crippler.
All right, Justin.
Gotcha.
This is our last one.
Oh, no, you got 3. You got,
you got
a couple
2
more.
more.
Here. 3 more. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Trachea cough.
You're 1 behind.
All right, Justin. Trachea cough or Trey Dog? Trachea cough or Trey Dog?
I'll go Trey Dog because Trachea Cough sounds like a college radio band.
I played bass for Trachea cough. I didn't even know how to play bass. Yeah.
No guy windpipe open for us, brother.
Steve, is it going to be Trachea cough or Trey Dog?
Trey Dog.
Trey Dog, Phil?
Trey Dog.
All of you guys won that one. All right, here we go. Now, the next 2 I had a little help with from my friend Jesse Wheeler over at Grow Depot. So you guys, when you guys get a chance, check out Grow Depot in Rolla if you're down this way for all your good grow supply needs. And they got lots of good genetics over there, including a couple of these that I'm about to read off.
Ooh.
Goodness Gracious versus Grape Balls of Fire. Goodness Gracious versus Grape Balls of Fire, Justin. Goodness Gracious or Grape Balls of Fire?
I like how that played into both of them. I'll go with Great Balls of Fire.
Okay, Grape Balls of Fire for Justin. Steve, are you going with Goodness Gracious or Grape Balls of Fire?
Goodness gracious.
Okay, you better be right because you own Grow Depot.
Well,
Hold on.
I'm hoping so. But I can't tell you.
There's lots of new genetics. Lots of new genetics. Phil, is it Goodness Gracious or Grape Balls of Fire?
It's Great Balls of Fire.
It is Grape Balls of Fire. Steve, those genetics are in your store.
Is that kind or
it is ethos.
Ethos?
Ethos
Okay.
makes those. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Here's your last one, fellas. Is there any chance here anybody can keep up with anybody?
Justin, he's 1 ahead of you. So if you win, you'll tie, and we'll have to do a tiebreaker. And if not, it goes to Phil.
All right. Phil might pull this one out. All right, fellas, for the last one, is it lime gravy gas? Lime gravy gas versus limbs and gravy. Lime gravy gas versus limbs, LIMBS, and gravy. Limbs and gravy, or lime gravy gas. Justin?
I'll go Gravy Gas.
Lime gravy gas. Steve, what do you think?
Lime gravy gas.
Phil, is it lime gravy gas or limbs and gravy?
It's lime gravy. Lime. What was it?
Lime gravy gas.
Lime. That one.
None of you guys got that. It's limbs and gravy is the
Really?
it's limbs and gravy is the strain. Unfortunately, lime gravy gas is nothing. Although I would definitely enjoy some of that. I think.
All right. Well, Phil wins with 9 points. Justin comes in at second place with 8, and I come in last with 5. So, congratulations, Phil.
And technically, Waxy got 0, so you're not last. Just
Yeah, I
Waxy
always-
just got the horrible
I
sport,
always
man.
lose this game. I have not one single time won this game at all. But you guys never come up with the game. I have to come up with the game. So Justin, maybe it's on you. Not this time, but next time. We need to bring back real dispensary, fake dispensary.
I enjoyed that. That was a good amount of questions.
Yeah, I think
And
so
I
too.
won. So
Yeah.
And what
Hey,
did he win, Waxy?
Yeah, he won more. You get to be on the show some more.
absolutely.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
job. Hey,
You know what?
Yeah.
Phil cheated. Check him for Captain Crossfade.
Oh, that's
Smell his breath. Did he take Captain Crossfade, and so now he's got more attentiveness and alertness and all that? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. And I want to give a big shout out to some of my listeners out there that are tuned in right now. Like a big shout out to Sandy. I'd love to give a shout out to our friend John Fisher who's tuned in. Justin, he's asking if you're going to be at the CannaCon event in Albuquerque.
I'm actually not. I'm going to be heading back to Nebraska in enemy territory to see my nephew graduate. Hopefully, we don't know if he's going to graduate yet or not. We find out this weekend.
So there's a possibility you could make it, if your nephew doesn't graduate.
Yeah. But it's a long trip, and it's tough to get back to Albuquerque. So,
Justin, do me a favor. I'm going to talk about some interstate stuff going on right now. Can you send Candy a link to this show? She's having some trouble getting on there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, buddy. All right, I want to talk a little bit about Phil. You'll pull up your sheet that says interstate gridlock. That's what I'm going to talk about now, real quick, before we get Candy on the line. It says interstate gridlock at the top of your sheet there. A top California marijuana official says that the U.S. already has an established interstate cannabis market. Now, how is that if interstate commerce and moving cannabis about the building in the United States is still illegal federally? That's what they're saying. It's just been unregulated. They're forcing cultivators to make a choice between staying legal and isolating products from each operation in one state, or engaging in illicit activity by selling across state lines. I think this is going to be a conversation that is going to get very, very loud as we start to talk about federal legalization, and as both the House and the Senate begin to dive into what this looks like, because unraveling decades and decades and decades of cannabis prohibition has not been easy for the federal government. In fact, it's been almost impossible for them to tackle over the last few years. It seems like every time we gain a yard, we lose two. And so we see a little bit forward movement happening right now. But one thing that I want folks to understand out there is that this market that's been illegal for a long time is legalizing. And as it legalizes, we have to adhere to our Constitution of the United States of America first and foremost, besides anything else. And our Constitution of America says that interstate commerce is guaranteed for us. You won't find any other industry out there, from cigarettes to tobacco, the regulated ones even, that it's like that, where things are just, the rules are just so different in each state, and they can't operate across state lines. There's no state line besides an invisible tax line that stops folks from being able to move products about the United States of America. So that's one of the things that's interesting to see in the cannabis space, is how brands go from one space to another. You've got a brand that's, say, in New Mexico or Colorado. Well, that brand is pretty much there. It's not in a lot of other states unless it's licensing or winning licenses out there, or partnering up with folks. It's a weird scenario, because you'd think that a company that wants to start a business can start a business in 50 states. You can't do that in cannabis, obviously. So the other option there is to do exactly what's happening now, and that's to simply wait for the federal government to put out the rules that technically we kind of already have in our Constitution, which says that Missouri cannabis companies should be able to sell to a market that's undersaturated. We're undersaturated. A saturated market like Oklahoma should be able to feed us the products we need. But neither Big Canna wants that, nor do a lot of your government officials out there. So we've got to come to an arrangement here with how this new industry is, with its new regulations, and learn to be able to get that to a space that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
You know what it'll take, though, to get that distribution nationwide, though, is courage in cannabis.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, so we are going to take a quick break, though, real quick, because we kind of ran out of time on this little spot here. When we get to the other side of this commercial, though, we're going to have Candy on and be able to and get into that a little bit. But we're going to go to commercial, pay a few bills. When we get back, we're going to talk to Candy Flores about the Courage in Cannabis Volume 2 book, and she's going to get to tell her own story. So we're really excited about that. You guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live right here at the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Premium brand. Organic. We're the best. High quality. Unique. Premium brand. Different. Unique. Premium brand. Different. We're different. We're different. Premium brand.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at BesaMeWellness.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. That was a good one. Welcome back to Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9. I'd like to welcome a very special guest to the program, Candy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We don't have her muted. We have her muted somehow.
Uh-oh.
Justin, you got her muted?
Yeah, we're muted, Justin.
No, we can hear her.
Okay.
Candy?
Take two.
Can we hear Candy?
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear Candy real well. Welcome to the show, Candy. Also, we got Candy Flores from now. Candy is Dr. Bridget Cole, Bridget Cole Williams' assistant. She's been working really hard on the Courage and Cannabis Volume 2 book. I'd like to give a great big shout out while I have the two of you together on the show to Justin and Candy, who have helped put some really terrific content together for the show over the last few months with the Courage and Cannabis series. We've had some absolutely phenomenal rides with these interviews, everything from tears to laughter to you name it. We've been through it with the folks in this book. So really good to have you here, Candy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So you have had quite a ride. Tell me a little bit about how you and Dr. Bridget Cole Williams got to working together.
We met at a Lucky Leaf Expo in Dallas a couple of years ago.
Very cool. It seems a lot of good things happen at Lucky Leaf across the United States. So let's talk a little bit. Well, I'd like to ask you a question. We brought you on because you've got quite a story, and that story, I think our listeners would be very interested in hearing. So I'd like to start you off with a question that I ask a lot of our listeners, and that's, tell me a little bit about your path to cannabis, how you found the plant, and how you got to where you're at now with it.
The reason I started cannabis and how cannabis saved my life was I ran into some complications with my morphine pump after being on morphine 24/7 for 5 years. Then the complications, when they were there to revise it, they ended up replacing it. And of course, my body rejected it, being it was a whole new foreign object to my body.
Wow.
After that, it was 4 surgeries back to back with my body rejecting it, cleaning out, all the infections and just going in and, getting it all done back to back. It actually just tore up my whole insides, the infections, and to where my body, the incisions would open up. And I didn't want to get back on the opiates after that, just going through all that and then seeing the actual withdrawals I was going through. I thought, there's no way I want to go back. I didn't want to take it, whether it was going to be oral or, they'd give me the sprays. I didn't want that life anymore. It kind of woke me up and made me who I am now. Because before then I was green to cannabis. I knew nothing about it. Back in the day, you would have said, try cannabis. I'd be like, no, I'm going to get in trouble. It's a drug. But the tables turned and I learned the medicinal value of it, and I just kept going. After the first year using cannabis, I finally came out and I said what I was doing. And during that year, I educated myself and just traveled and learned more. And just the passion just became outrageous, and it didn't end, and it still doesn't end. The majority of my time, probably 85% of my daily routine, consists of, research and just connecting people, and just being in the industry is part of my healing.
That's a very, I've had a lot of people on this show from the industry, and I've never heard it from that perspective before. That's qualifying, and it feels good to hear that. That's really good stuff.
Thank you. And one thing I'd like to say is, what's kept me going, and it's funny because I always look at daily affirmations and mantras, and today's said, no matter what you're going through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, by Demi Lovato. And I've always told myself that, because it started at a minimum and then it just became larger and larger. And, with using THC at just the beginning was helping me with my chronic pain, but not knowing the endless benefits of it. It honestly was helping other stuff as well medically. And now I help others through their journeys. And that's one thing that I tell them is there is light at, at the end of the tunnel. You just, it takes time and patience and commitment for sure.
So tell me a little bit about your story. I know that you've had a history now with this plant for quite a bit. Talk to me a little bit about what brought you to this part where you're at now, where it seems like the drive is to get other people's stories out, get the word of the plant in their hands. How did we get here today?
How did I get here today?
Yeah.
I feel like I lost so many years in my life, being on morphine and 18 different medications.
Oh wow.
My morphine was 24/7 because I had a morphine pump. And I would also do bolus doses just depending on my daily routine, if I overdid it or so forth. And not only was the morphine the only thing I was taking, I had 18 other medications I was on. And now with just plant medicine, I feel, how can we share this with others and show them that, we are the research?
That's right.
Now I take one medication and plant medicine and I'm fine, no more, I met with some loved ones earlier and I do education sessions and, just coaching. So people they're seeing the difference, but the stigma's still there.
Well, let's talk about that for a quick second. Let's talk about how it's been around your family. When you were dealing with the morphine drip and being on all these cocktails and these drugs that they had you on. Talk about how you're able to participate now with everything and be more engaged as opposed to what was it like then around the people around you and your family?
So actually back then, I didn't have no drive. My life was hopeless at times because, it takes you to a dark place. You're in pain, you're unhappy, so you don't want that engagement with others. Now I feel, with the difference that it's done for me, I'm able to relate and be myself again.
And that, of course, that's going to affect everybody around you, that energy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you referred to being in pain and different things like that and in a dark place, I mean, with 18 different, medications you were taking plus your morphine, I mean, how that's kind of the pain I can't understand with that much going on. What was the pain from when you were under that much medication?
I have several autoimmune disorders,
Okay.
and I also have fibromyalgia.
Okay.
After all that, I have neurodegenerative disease. After that happened with the morphine pump and all the complications that I went through, I developed CRPS, which intensifies the pain. So my pain levels are not, like it would be for someone else.
Right.
It's intensified probably 10 times more.
Mhm.
And at times, in the past, when I first started using, I had to get to my certain dosage to be able to come out and be able to live normal and do
Right.
functions and, just be myself again.
And then how long of a process was that changeover from, weaning yourself off to now being totally reliable on your cannabis and your other plant medicine?
So it took about a year.
Wow.
During the first year, I played with my daily regimen. I'd cook my meals with it, and I started when I first started. It was the RSO. My husband would give it to me at the tip of my tongue,
Right.
Wow.
and that's how I started. Then when I started studying it and learning more on it, I started making my own butter, my own oils, my own pomades, and treating myself. So coaching myself at the time, I wasn't seeing the whole big picture. I just was so enlightened by the quality of life I was having. And after the year and studying, I went deeper with the different cannabinoids and including them in my daily regimen. And after that, it was just like, wow,
Okay.
amazed.
So how do those ailments, how do you feel about that now? I mean, do you still feel? Obviously you don't, and you're and everything that they were prescribing to you that didn't work is now gone and replaced by what God put here.
Absolutely.
It's interesting to see because Candy is an example of what Big Pharma's perfect customer is.
Right. I mean, sounded like that.
Dealing with human issues, and then the answer from Big Pharma was, of course, a laundry list of medications. And Candy found out different.
Right. And being able to go to a plant-based medicine plus get your endocannabinoid system line back out. I mean, you look great. That's why I'm asking, what you were describing kind of brings tears to my eyes, knowing what you had to go through to get where you're at now.
Thank you. And that's my passion. That's the reason why I strive daily to help others save that time of their life.
Right.
I wasted many years, and I want to save someone else.
Yeah, your energy is definitely doing that. Justin, what were you going to say?
Thank you.
I was curious with the morphine pump, like coming off of it, do you look back and think of any anxiety or like that coming from that? I mean, that's
so the withdrawals were really bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only did it change my life, but I was able to see life from a different picture. Being in the healthcare field, I trusted, the doctors and the healthcare system, and nothing against doctors. We still need them in the pharmaceuticals. It was just, I feel that they didn't give us enough information, or they don't give us enough information on the long-term effects. I never thought I would go through withdrawals. I never thought that my body was going to reject it. I never, I was just seeing the temporary relief at that time. Now I'm able to see things differently, and the pharmaceutical drug that I still use is for my thyroid. But I just, it's a big difference, from being on all those medications. And of course, I've heard people say, that they're sleepy, and yes, for example, at the time I was diagnosed with narcolepsy because I couldn't drive from where I lived to, a 30-minute drive because I would fall asleep.
Well, you're doped up. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden, when I'm off all these medications, I'm off the morphine and just doing plant medicine, I'm awake. I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life.
And it's
Of
a different
course.
kind. It's a different kind of awake too. It's not just I had a cup of coffee and I'm aware now. It's
Right.
awake. It's awake from all the poisons, from the and let's just be real about it. We really can't blame our hospitals and our doctors for a lot of this issue. A lot of it, prohibition caused, the inability for them to have knowledge about the endocannabinoid system and things like that. So I look at folks like Candy who are showing, obviously this is huge, that any doctor that runs into her, and she's going to run into doctors with the ailments that she deals with. And I don't mean to talk about you like you're not there, Candy, but I just feel like
it's okay.
You're a great ambassador to be in those rooms and show them that that path that they had before isn't qualified anymore.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
And let's be real honest too. I mean, a lot of the interviews that we've had on this show couldn't have happened without Candy being on her game and being able to do all that stuff. And it sounds like the Candy that's with us today is the one we needed. So thank you so much for all the stuff that you've done. Every author we talk to has nothing but amazing things to say about you and Dr. Bridget. So
Thank you.
I can't wait to get my hands on the book. And if you can sign a copy for me, specifically you, Candy, I totally want one of those. Put it on my bookshelf.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Candy, did I miss anything today?
No, absolutely not.
Awesome. What a great conversation. Folks, I just want to point out that this is why we do it here on the show. It has everything to do with the inspiration, the stories. It's a lot to do with the science, of course, and making sure people know what their endocannabinoid system is. But nobody listens to a wild stoner with a tie-dyed shirt on. They'll listen to Candy because Candy brings a conversation that is real. Candy's life has been saved by cannabis, and Candy, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing that inspiration and your story with folks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome stuff. All right, well, I guess we're going to go to a break. Candy, I appreciate you. Make sure you folks check out Courage and Cannabis Volume 2. As we go forward with this book, because I am in the book too. I appreciate that, Candy. You guys throwing us in one of the chapters there.
Yes.
We're super excited to tell our story in there as well. But I
And
want
you also have an amazing story, Waxy.
Oh, thanks. It's been a wild ride, as it seems like all of them have been. I have to be honest. In this book, I found a camaraderie that I didn't know that I'd run into. You know, when you get a bunch of activists and advocates and folks who've been touched by this plant in big ways into one room, great conversations happen, and I think that's what this book is.
Well, and Candy, did we ever figure out if we can infuse Waxy's page so that it's smokable? Did we figure out what we wanted to put on there?
Can we get that one made out of hemp, please?
Is that
gummed on the inside so that it doesn't get ripped?
We appreciate that.
Little perforation.
Candy, I'd love
what
you.
sized is that book anyway? That's going to be a nice sized paper. Remember Big Bamboo?
No.
Yeah, they had the biggest, largest rolling papers. But anyway, anyway,
I am going to get that real quick. I'm going to let Brandon Jones know that, hey, Brandon, you're live on the Flower Power Hour calling during the show, buddy. I'll call you right back. Love you. Bye.
Oh, boy.
All right. Hey, Candy, we really appreciate you guys. We're going to tell you all a lot more about the Courage and Cannabis Volume 2 book. Really cool people in there. I'm really excited to be a part of it. All right. We're going to catch you guys on the other side of this break. You're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9.
Thank you.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out!
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade. A blend of THCV and CBC, this drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
People always ask me, how do you do it? What's your secret? How long did it take? What kind of dedication do you have? How do you do it every day? Well, the truth is, I'm high as shit most of the time, and I wax off a lot. I mean a lot.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade. A blend of THCV and CBC, this drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the robust Cannabis Studios, KKID 92.9.
Nailed that
Snailed
one.
it.
Snailed it. Hey, what do you guys think though? Robust cannabis. Let's talk just a little bit about those cats for a quick second. For anybody that's listening in the Missouri area, you want to jump to the dispensaries and look for the bright red bags that say robust. Steve, stand up on the YouTube. Show them your shirt. That's what you're looking for right there. That robust symbol, that great big robust. There it is. That's beautiful. That's perfect, Steve. Thanks for the modeling. Really appreciate that, buddy. I think you'd do good with like Gucci or something.
Do those jeans make my butt look big?
I wasn't paying attention. You'd have to ask Justin.
I didn't know you were wearing True Religion with all this bejeweled stuff on the back. That's just amazing, man. I didn't know they made it in men's.
He's got the Jordache rocking. But yeah, make sure you guys stop by. Look for those big red bags. And I've got quite a few sponsors out there with some great flower. But I do want to talk for a second. They're robust. They're sustainable. They're exactly the kind of stuff we like to look for. Real terp heavy and grown in soil, living soil, which is different than a lot of the companies out there who use the Grodan blocks and the nutrients and all that, which is great too. But I do like to see companies do it a lot different, like Robust is doing. Now, I want you guys to run and get some Robust, because here's what I learned about Robust. They're going to be dialing back just a little bit on how many dispensaries they're in, because there's just that much cannabis being sold in Missouri right now. So you want to get them while the getting's good, before they're in some of the smaller areas. We really want you to support those guys, and it's delicious. Which I want to tell you guys, I tried a new Vivid flower. I told you guys last week I tried the Vivid liquid diamonds. Did I tell you guys that? The liquid diamond carts?
Yeah, the carts, right.
Oh man, it's the best cartridge that I bought on the Missouri dispensary side yet. But I also tried their LA Baker. That's a flower. I don't care if you've got 3 ounces at home waiting for you, because that's the Missouri law, or whatever with possession. But I don't care what you got at home. You want to stop and you want to get an eighth of that LA Baker by Vivid. It was definitely a head stomper of a cannabis. Justin, I wish we'd have gotten some of that for you while you were down here.
I forgot to try Cali Raisins while I was out there too.
Oh yeah, Cali Raisins was robust. That's the strain that won the Super Bowl, right? Or did it win? Yeah, Cali Raisins won the Super Bowl. We thought that might happen. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about what's happening out there. I got a couple of subjects and not much time to do much, so we're going to go kind of quick here. I want to talk about CBD and Delta 8 on the federal level. Now, we all know the Farm Bill legalized Delta 8, CBD, all things that land under those regulatory lanes. But here they're talking about some changes. The Department of Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, will soon be proposing new rules to clarify that synthetically manufactured cannabinoids like Delta 8 THC are prohibited controlled substances. So that means they'd end up on that controlled substance list. At their, they had a conference this month. Terrence Boos, that's the chief of the DEA's Drug and Chemical Evaluation Section, said the officials have received multiple petitions on the issue and are in the process of moderating the regulations on cannabis constituents based on recommendations from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It says here that they are looking to make a couple changes. One of them would be to decontrol CBD up to 0.1% THC on a weight-to-weight or weight-to-volume basis. But one of the things that I noticed here that's kind of interesting, he said that Boos said he wanted to clear up the confusion around the legal status of various cannabinoids since hemp and its derivatives were federally legalized under the 2018 Farm Bill. It does say that Delta 8 THC does occur naturally in cannabis in trace amounts. That's kind of what protects it with the Farm Bill. And the DEA has previously confirmed that those natural constituents are uncontrolled, but many products are being produced synthetically through a chemical process that converts CBD into Delta 8. And there's a lot of products out there that's just another way to make Delta 8 from CBD. It's one of the ways that you can do it. But they're saying that's not allowed, actually. They're saying it emphasized that, quote, synthetic THC were not exempted from the Controlled Substance Act, from even though hemp and its naturally produced derivatives were legalized. So they're making a stance here saying that if you were getting Delta 8 from CBD, that's synthesizing, and at that point they're saying that drives it back into the Controlled Substance Act lane. It's kind of interesting to see what that's going to do for our market, especially since we have the Farm Bill is being re-looked at, rules and things being changed there too. So on that side of the industry, with the on the hemp side of everything, the Delta 9, hemp derived, all your other ones, you're looking at some possible regulatory changes coming down the pipeline that would affect all 50 states, being that it's federal. And I don't think there's any grandfathering into any of this. So it'll be interesting to see.
And yet fentanyl is a Schedule II drug.
It pisses me off. Am I allowed to say it on the radio?
Yeah,
okay. All right. It pisses me off. Yeah. To no end, but crazy. So they, once again, the federal government looks like they're stepping in a little bit to to make some changes. And who knows, with the federal cannabis legislation that's going to come down the pipelines, what federal legalization is going to end up being. They're going to have some regulations in there as well that we'll need to pay attention to. That takes me to a little bit here, and I know I'm getting a little bit on the dry stuff here, but we had a great show, and you guys have to stick with me for just a second because I want to talk about this. Who should regulate weed? Phil, you'll see on your paper there, who should regulate weed? You think about it, a lot of people think that a lot of different entities should regulate cannabis, and I just read an article that says that basically we should rely on the Alcohol, Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, the TTB. It's the folks who have already been regulating alcohol and dealt with compliance and all that for a long time. So that's what I was reading in this article about, that's who we should talk to about regulating on the federal side, because a lot of folks want cannabis regulated by the FDA or things like that. And I just don't know that that's going to happen. They're going to stick us with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms or something along that line. I think that the compliance is already really heavy. So there,
that just sounds like a party, not like a government agency. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Cannabis.
It sounds like everywhere in New Mexico. That's what it sounds like.
Kind of what we do.
Yeah. All right. So I do want to say this is another one. You guys know who the AMA is, the American Medical Association. Okay, it's who all it's all the doctors listen to these guys. It says the use of medical marijuana is associated with, quote, significant improvements in quality of life for people with conditions like chronic pain and insomnia. And these effects are, quote, largely sustained over time, meaning that folks you have to use the cannabis for a decent amount of time for it to work the way that they want it to. Researchers carried out a retrospective case series analysis that involved 3,150 people in Australia who were prescribed medical cannabis for the treatment of certain eligible conditions. Now, for all 8 well-being indicators that were tested, marijuana appeared to help with adverse side effects that were rarely serious, according to the study. It says it helped and there weren't a lot of problems. Patients were asked to rate their wellness in 8 categories on a scale of 0 to 100 in different stages of treatment. Those categories were general health, bodily pain, physical functioning, physical role limitations, mental health, emotional role limitations, social functioning, and vitality. I know cannabis helps me with all of that. After administering the survey to the patients about once every 45 days for a total of 15 follow-ups, the study found that the participants who were consuming cannabis reported average improvements of 6.6 to 18.31 points on that scale. That's a lot. It comes down to this. These findings suggest that the medical cannabis treatment may be associated with improvements in health-related quality of life among patients with a range of health conditions, the researchers from that university in Western Australia said. So pretty wild stuff. I like that the AMA is coming out and they're talking about how cannabis can help, because you listen to stories like Candy's and it just wasn't there for her during all those struggles that she went through in the hospital, the doctor visits. Can you imagine, Steve, how many hundreds of doctor visits you think she's been to?
Man, think about it. You know,
and can you imagine that the only person in that room talking about pot is Candy?
Yeah.
It's almost like you're walking into a room armed with information that's stripped away from you the second you're there because it just doesn't exist to them.
Well,
it's like me walking into Home Depot.
What'd you say?
It's like me walking into Home Depot. I'm Ron Swanson. I know more than you. Walk away.
That's how it is. But it's good to see a lot of change out there happening, and you see folks like that, like Candy and that story, doing things like that. It's phenomenal to like I told my team during the commercial break. I said, this is why we do it, guys. This is why we do the show, so that we can bless these folks with some good information.
Yep. And just seeing how she uses it in her recipes and different things like that. I mean, obviously she's not a tie-dyed stoner like you, but
I feel attacked.
No, I'm just making the comparison. That helped normalizing it. And from a real strong medical standpoint as well, too. So
you bet. Also on the show today,
not picking on you.
No, hey, I don't mind you picking on me, Steve. It's fine. I'm used to it. Also on the show, we had our friend John Payne come on from
Your haters made you famous.
That's right.
Remember?
Right. Something
you
like
have
that.
A T-shirt like that.
Also on the show, we had John Payne from Amendment 2 Consultants come on and talk about the new micro license opportunities that are happening here in Missouri. I want you guys, if you qualify for that, know someone that does, feel like you want to know more about that conversation, make sure you go to www.momicrolicense.com/Waxy. On that page, you're going to find a whole lot of information. I don't think that there's any information that you could possibly want that's not on there after Justin just added those new maps.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, and keep in mind too, one of the qualifying factors is if you have a relative or spouse or family member that was convicted for cannabis, you can qualify for a license too. So,
And there's a lot of situations like that. Think about it like if you're a spouse and say your husband or wife went to prison for cannabis for a long time. You didn't get to go to college. You didn't get to work on, raising the kids properly. You didn't get to do all these things. Well, now that social equity program in Missouri is going to give you guys an opportunity to perhaps do that and engage in that process.
So now when you say, like a relative or something like that, do you actually have to be a Missouri resident to apply for these micro licenses?
You sure do.
For at least a year or something like that?
the easiest way to do it would be to go to momicrolicense.com/Waxy and fill out the form and talk to John Payne and his friends about exactly what it takes to qualify, because there's so much there that I'm so glad that we have those guys as a resource.
Right.
Versus us trying to remember how to correctly quote all these regs.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, and big shout out to Route 66 Labs for not only producing the digital side of the show today, but also for all that hard work at that micro license website.
And you did get those maps updated
during the show.
Yeah.
Good. I mean,
I didn't crash the show. That's the best part about it, right?
Yeah, he's quick. How many seconds I got, Steve?
You got 20.
All right. I want to thank everybody for listening out there, and I want to especially thank my sponsors who help us get this show on the road. We couldn't do it without you. These folks wouldn't get that information without your help. We appreciate you. Robust Cannabis. Well, we got a lot of other sponsors.
There you go.
A lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. All right, guys. It's been a wild show. We were going to catch you guys on the next show, and we'll have lots of good stuff for you then. You guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9 FM.